Good day, everyone. Welcome to our first ever Virtual Symposium 2021 with the topic, Policies, Issues, and Safety and its Implications among Students under Online Learning.
Good day to you all and thank you for being part of this program. I truly consider it an honor to be your Master of Ceremony, together with my partner, so let me introduce her. She finished elementary at Casili Elementary School, graduated from high school at Casili Integrated National High School, former SSD Vice President Officer of the campus. She took up the strand course of General Academic Strand and currently studying at Olivares College, Tagaytay. She's taking the course of Bachelor of Elementary Education, none other than Miss Shelo Ramos. Let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you, Miss Giovanni. So let me introduce my partner for this afternoon. She finished elementary at Camflora Main Elementary School, former SSG President Officers. She graduated from high school at Mendez Christian Academy, a high school former SSG Officers. She took up the strand course of General Academic Strand, currently studying at Olivares College, Tagaytay, taking course of Bachelor of Elementary Education. Let us all welcome Miss Giovanni Ogaya.
Here is our program for our Virtual Symposium year 2021. Let's start with the opening prayer led by Miss Bridget Elaine Medina, followed by National Anthem, then the presentation of participants. Afterward, a symposium proper, and finally, closing remarks.
May I invite everyone to invoke the Almighty, ladies and gentlemen. We would like to start the program of prayer and followed by the National Anthem. Please all rise, respected audience, and our guest speaker for this month.
So, good morning, everyone. Let's all bow our heads and let us pray. Lord, we thank you for this day. Thank you for gathering us and for all the lessons we're about to gain today. We know that you are here with us. We are here asking for your guidance. Let this day be the start of new beginnings. This is our prayer in Jesus' almighty name. Amen.
I will be presenting to you the list of speakers for this symposium, which are Ms. Karen Oliveros, together with Ms. Alma Clotario. They will be conducting and discussing about internet policies. followed by Miss Mary Jing Tonghai and Mary Queen Cruz. They will be presenting and conducting internet safety. Last but not least, Mr. Hannibal Flores with Joanne Pomoseno. They will be discussing implication of student under online learning.
For our first guest speaker.
So let's start our first guest speaker. She finished elementary at Nanda Central School, graduated from high school at Tagaytay City National High School. She took up the strand course of Humanities and Social Science at Olivares College, Tagaytay, and currently taking the course of Bachelor of Elementary Education, major in General Education at Olivares College, Tagaytay, none other than Miss Karen Oliveros. Let's give her a round of applause.
For our next guest speaker, she finished her elementary graduate at Salogon Elementary School. She graduated junior high school at Bartolome Sanggalang National High Schools with honors. Senior high school graduate at Luksuhin Integrated School, took up the strand course General Academic Strand with honors. Currently studying at Olivares College, Tagaytay, taking the course of Bachelor of Elementary Education. Let us all welcome Miss Alma P. Plotario. Let's give her a round of applause. For our first guest speaker, you may proceed to your discussion.
So good morning, everyone. So before we proceed, let's start to internet policy introduction. So from the word internet, there are so many things that we need to be aware. I have a question first. What is internet safety for you? Anyone?
Ma'am,
Yes.
for me, the internet can be a helpful tool and valuable forum for connecting with people across the world and for people who knows how to use it. For students, it can be an online portal fraught with danger and temptations and sadly bullying. Unfortunately, digital actions and choices can have a real life consequences, making an internet safety policy critical for your classroom.
So thank you for your answer. So access to internet will enable students to explore thousands of libraries, databases, and bulletin boards throughout the world via the internet. So next, let's proceed to the classroom rules for using technology. First is keep internet sensitive information private. So when we say keep sensitive or we need to keep our information private, so never share your address, phone number, full name of your parents, names without teacher permission. So if you're unsure of a site's legitimacy or an inappropriate amount or information to share, ask a parent or a teacher first. With so many recent data breaches, it's critical that students learn to keep certain information private at a young age. So we need to be aware on everything and don't share any information about us. So next, don't interact with strangers. So messaging apps and social media has made it easier than ever for students to encounter the wrong person. So when your student need to know that online strangers are potential predators, will lie to them. So stranger danger applies to everything you do online. So meaning don't talk to anyone you don't need know unless the teacher has instructed you and your parent also, because your parents will always guide you um to your right path. They will never go you to the wrong way. Next po. Know the laws that protect you, your privacy, and your rights. So there are 3 laws. May I ask anyone if they have any idea about the laws?
Ma'am,
Yes po.
the 3 laws that protect us in privacy and our rights are Child's Internet Protection Act or CIPA, Child Online Privacy Protection or Act or COPA, and cyberbullying laws.
So this is the Child's Internet Protection Act relates to the school's responsibility to censor the computer access on the campus. So Child Online Privacy Protection Acts put the responsibility on website operators to protect children's privacy. Understanding all of this law is a paramount in educating your students. Also, don't visit any site your teacher has not instructed you to go visit, because there are so many viruses or spam. Zero tolerance of cyberbullying. So if you see cyberbullying, report it to a teacher or other adult immediately. Don't tolerate the students to do something wrong, because we know it is bad, and they are um, ayaw na nilang pumasok pag nararanasan nila yung cyberbullying. Engage in appropriate online behavior. So students need to understand the basics of constituents appropriate online behavior. So exhibit approach of online behavior at all times. No cyberbullying, no name calling, and no sharing of inappropriate image and videos. So example is, if we see something in our online class na naglalag siya, ganon. Then, we capture her image, then send it to our friends, then pagtatawanan natin sila, ganon, bubulihin. Don't do that. Next. Don't download anything without permission. So, don't download anything unless otherwise instructed, including files, programs, apps, or games, because viruses often infect computers when someone downloads uninfected files. So this is just one way hackers are able to access our personal information. By implementing this rule, you're one step closer to keep private information and your device becomes safe. So next, don't click on any suspicious links, because there are so many unfamiliar links or pop-up windows, including links via email and social media rather. Links are another way of viruses can get into a computer or other mobile devices. Students are especially susceptible to pop-up scams and malevolent links that contain viruses and spyware. Don't overshare on social media. Once you post it, it never truly goes away. So, sharing your success and kindest words, don't post overly emotional content. Why? Because like if you're mad at someone activities, that your teacher or parents would be upset about. So nearly half of kids have regret something they post on social media according to McAfee. While this could fall under appropriate online behavior, social media in particular has provided students with a platform to broadcast to world at any time of the day. So meaning, pwede naman natin siyang i-post but not the yung mismong oras na ginagawa mo siya. So it's okay to upload it sa susunod na araw, ganun. Next. Number 9, treat online relationships with caution. So don't trust anyone you meet online. So I said earlier, even if you think they're your age or friendly, always check with the teacher or parent first, because meeting them, it's so be dangerous. So next, keep a clean digital footprint. So the importance and permanence of students' digital footprint and how their internet conduct could affect their future is a crucial piece of these rules. So things that they send via text, social media, email are never truly deleted. Just don't do it. Continue to reiterate that their internet choices can affect their futures, including relationships, college admissions, and other opportunities. Your digital footprint will never go away. Never post something online that you're uncertain about. So always ask a teacher or parents to have their permission. So um, the internet unlocks a wealth of information. Students just need guidance on how to navigate the online world. Anyone using the internet is susceptible to hackers and viruses. And the best chance students have to combat this is with safe internet practices. So that's all for the continuation of internet safety. May I call Alma Clotario? Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Ms. Karen Oliveros, for that wonderful discussion about the policy in the internet. So it is important to know as a user, and we must be responsible when we are in online setting. Those policies are really appropriate to us. So thank you for that. So may we call on Ms. Alma P. Clotario for the continuations.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So, the continuation, the Internet Acceptable Use Policy. Okay, next. Okay, Internet Safety. General warning, individual responsibility of parents and users. So, you as a parent or you as a users, you have a responsibility on using internet or computer. You as parents, you have a responsibility to monitor your children on how they use internet or how they use computer, like how they do in like Facebook or in other social media, or how they treat someone, or how they treat someone in public media. So next. Wait lang, may question pala ako doon. Are you aware on using internet or computer? Anyone? Anyone who shared their idea, their side? Are you aware on using internet or computer?
Well, I'm gonna answer that question. So, um, where as far as I am concerned, I'm very aware of the internet itself and how I use it.
Okay. So, next. So, personal safety, be safe. And using the computer network in internet, do not reveal personal information such as your home address or telephone number. Also, do not arrange a face-to-face meeting with someone you met on the computer network or internet without your parents' permission, especially if you are under 18. So, so alam naman natin na sa mga bawat pagbukas natin ng site, link, or app like that, hinihingian tayo ng personal information. But don't give your real information, like your real name, your real surname. Don't give that because it can harm you and it can make you in danger. Okay, so especially your home address, kasi ikakapahamak mo yon, and then it can track you, and then ikakapahamak mo yon. And then also, do not arrange a face-to-face meeting with someone you met online. So, lalong-lalo na yun. Mas maikakapahamak nyo yun at mas mapapahamak kayo kapag lagi nyong ginagawa yung ganito. So, don't do that, okay? So, next. So, yun. Isa rin to, hacking and other illegal activities. It is a violation of this policy to use the school's computer network or the internet to gain unauthorized access to other computers or computer systems or to attempt to gain such unauthorized access. So, hacking. So, isa rin to sa pinagbabawal. So, alam naman natin na yung hacking is sobrang mali. Diba? Before you do that or before you hack someone's personal information or someone's computer network or other information, so think first or think many times paano kung sa inyo yung nagawa or paano kung kayo yung nagawa ng ganung bagay. Okay? So, next. So, also, we have a network etiquette or netiquette. So, do not post the personal address or phone numbers of students or colleagues. So, like what I have said earlier, so don't post or don't give to anyone your personal address or phone numbers because not just in school policy but in world of internet or how you use it. So, like what I had said, it can harm you and it can make you in danger. So next, check your email frequently and delete it after reading it. So it is important to delete your email after you're reading it. Kasi, syempre, ikakapahamak niyo rin to. Kasi may pwedeng makabasa niyan and then paano na lang kung ikapahamak mo, diba? So next, do not publicly criticize or inflame others. Like in Facebook, diba? Pag may kaaway, magpo-post with tag pa, diba? So, huwag kayong mamamahiya ng ibang tao kahit nagalit man kayo doon in public. And then, protect the privacy of other people. So, for example, pumunta ka sa computer shop, and then magla-login ka ng Facebook. And then may naiwan pala doon na hindi naka-log out ng Facebook niya. So ang gawin mo, i-log out mo na lang nang hindi ginagalaw yung account na yun. So yun yung pinaka-importante. Messages written in all capitals are difficult to read and are the network equivalent shouting. So 'di ba para sa atin, if we chat someone with all capital letters, di ba? It means para sa atin ano yun pasigaw or galit yung isang tao. So don't do that, okay? Next po. Okay. So it is example of security by Madison County Schools Network. So they said that security on any computer system is a high priority, especially when the system involves many users. If you feel you can identify a security problem on the Madison County Schools Network, please contact computer services. Do not demonstrate the problem to other users. Do not use another individual's account or attempt to log in any system program. Attempts to log in to any system account, attempts or network as an administration may result in cancellations of users' prior privileges. So also we have a consequences of violations. They have a consequences of violations. So those violations are suspensions of information network access, revocations of information network access, suspension of network privileges, revocations of network privileges, suspensions of computer access, revocations of computer access, school suspension, school expulsion, legal action, and prosecution by the authorities. So before I end this discussion, I have last question. So anyone, have you ever arranged face-to-face meeting you met online?
Ma'am?
Okay.
For me, no. I only arrange the face-to-face if I know the person, because it is very harmful to meet someone you don't know and you only meet online.
Yes, very good. That is important. You don't need to meet someone you met online because it can harm you as what I have said. So that's all. Thank you po.
Thank you, Ms. Alma Clotario, for that wonderful discussions about the internet acceptable use of use policy. So under that, we Ms. Alma discussed the general warning to the individual and their responsibilities. We need to know the etiquettes as a users, and we need to keep our personal informations and explore in online with limitations. So thank you for that, Ms. Alma Platario. So let's go to our next guest speaker for this morning. So she graduated at Balagtasan Elementary School, and she graduated senior high school at Claret School of Tumahobong, Basilan. His favorite color is white and blue, and her motto in life is work hard and wait until God gives you what you want and wish for. Let us all welcome Miss Mary Queen Cruz. Let's give him a round of applause.
Our next guest speaker, she finished elementary at Tumahubong Central Elementary School in Basilan, graduate from junior high and senior high school at Claret School of Tumahubong in Basilan with honors, CAT officer, graduate as battalion staff. She is cadet captain with special award. She currently studying at Olivares College, Tagaytay, taking the course of elementary education major in general education. Her favorite motto in life, don't live in fear, live in faith. Let's welcome Miss Mary Jane Tonghai. Let's give her a round of applause.
You may proceed, Miss Mary Queen Cruz.
So, ayan, magsimula na tayo. So, Ang topic natin yun is issues in the internet. So, when we say issues, what comes first in your mind? Anyone?
Ma'am,
Sige.
when we say issues in the internet, it is all about the online gaming, cyberbullying, inappropriate content, which is it is our problem from the internet that people experience or experiencing today. So, which we need to deeply understand how to handle or manage using internet. Thank you. Po.
Yes, very good. So next. So first we have kids playing on internet. Hand a smartphone or tablet to a toddler, chances are they'll figure out how to open it and make some in-app purchases in a matter of seconds. So meaning dito, pag yung bata ay pinapalaro mo ng tablet or sa online games, pinapahiram mo siya ng cellphone, means pwede siyang, there are chances na makakabili siya ng mga weapons dun sa, example, dun sa mobile games ng ML, makakabili sila ng weapons, yung mga ginagamit, tapos hindi alam ng parents. So, means, kailangan din i-monitor ng parents yung kids by using internet or online gaming. So, next. Inappropriate content. The internet is chock full of inappropriate content. Your children may try searching for such content or they may stumble upon it accidentally. Regardless, it's very easy to find if the websites containing the content are not black. So, have you experienced that when you go online and then you saw some inappropriate content that makes you upset? Anyone?
Ma'am, yes, because sometimes when I'm scrolling in Facebook, there are times that I saw some contents include abusive and cruelty, and I think those are not suitable for children.
Yes, totoo yun. Kasi, di ba, sa internet, lalo na sa Facebook, marami tayong nakikitang hindi kaaya-aya dapat sa mata ng mga bata. Lalo na din sa atin siguro, minsan, it makes us upset. Yung mga cruelty, yung mga binubugbog yung mga animals, and then minsan din yung mga taong nag-aaway, binibidyo nila, and then kung isa-search yun ng mga bata, so makikita nila yun kasi that's content are not black. So next. Chat rooms or friends. Some predators enter chat rooms or use social media to find young children. They befriend them by pretending to be their age and usually try to meet up at some point. Setting up fake profiles is quite simple, making it important for parents to emphasize this danger to your children. So, did you experience joining in chat rooms in Facebook or Messenger? Ano yung nauobserbahan nyo while you're in?
Ako po, ma'am. Yeah. Ako po, nakatry na po akong sumali sa chat rooms doon. Yung napapansin ko is, kahit hindi mo naman friends yung mga nandun, pwede silang mag-join and also, pwede silang mag-chat ng kahit na ano, and also, yung nangyayari doon is, minsan yung mga messages is nagiging toxic na, minsan nagbabastusan na sila, yung ganun.
Yes, tama din yun. So, dito sa chat rooms, no, very prone ang mga, yung mga children, mga 8 years old to 10 years old. Kasi, hindi natin alam kung sila ba talaga yung totoo ba sila talaga yung nasa profile or they're just setting up fake profiles to be friend with the children, lalo na yung mga bata. So, next. So, cyberbullying. So, very common. Just as predators no longer have to leave their homes to interact with children, bullies no longer have to be face-to-face with their victims. Cyberbullying through social media sites is unfortunately prevalent in today's world and causes just as much damage as any other form of bullying. So dito sa bullying, pwede siyang sa personal or sa through internet yung pagbully. So, it can cause the children depression. So, maraming nang nakaka-experience nito, then they go through depression, tas hindi na sila masyadong kumakain. So dun yun lumalabas yung issues kasi hindi na sila nagiging confident. Yon. Next. So online scams. Well, older adults are often true as of the main targets of online scams, children are very vulnerable to them as well. So, have you experienced being scammed online? Anyone?
Ma'am, yes, po. I unexpectedly received an item from Marketplace online. I don't really order that item. So, I am at school that time. So, my aunt paid for it. She's forcibly paid for it because she doesn't know that I really don't order that item.
Yes, tama yon. Isa pang example is yung, di ba, nagte-text yung mga iba't ibang number sa cellphone mo that you won 180,000 pesos and then kailangan mo munang magbayad to claim it. So, yun yung example ng scam. So, are just some issues of use of internet. So, iko-continue ngayon ni Miss Mary Jane yung mas marami pang issues in the internet. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Cruz, for that wonderful discussion.
So next. So I will going to continue the report of Miss Mary Queen Cruz. So itong i-discuss ko is continuation lang sa na-discuss ni Miss Mary Queen. So first is excessive internet use. Maintaining a healthy balance between internet, media, and other activities in children's lives has always been a challenge. The internet has made this challenge even more difficult. This section explores how to recognize when excessive use has become problematic and how to address the issue. So, para sa inyo, excessive internet user ba kayo? Anyone?
Mama.
Yes po.
For me, it's yes. I can't deny during these times, we're not allowed to go outside every day. And it's the only way to still get connected with our family, friends, and classmates. And as we use the e-learning and do research with our schoolworks, it's in the internet also, like almost is in the internet. And even in my free time, I use internet. So for me, it's a yes.
Okay, very good. Okay, di ba sa sobrang paggamit natin ng internet, halimbawa sa pagtulog natin, instead na 9 to 8 hours yung sleep natin, so yung nagagawa is 5 hours, 4 hours, 3 hours na lang. Minsan hindi na natutulog kasi nga na-enjoy tayo sa paggamit ng internet, like for example sa pag-Facebook, YouTube, sa pag-TikTok, 'di ba? Naapektuhan din yung ating pagtulog. Like for example, for me, my experience ko is nag-Facebook ako 8 p.m. and then hindi ko namalayan yung oras. So yung pagtingin ko sa oras 5 a.m. na. So yun masasabi ko sa sarili ko na excessive internet user ako. Also yung mga kids nowadays na or even yung mga young people na instead na gawin nila yung activities nila, yung module, yung mga yung aralan nila yung kanilang mga lessons is yung ginagawa nila is gumagamit lang sila sa social media, nanonood sa YouTube. So dahil nga sa dahil nga na-enjoy sila dun sa kanilang paggamit ng internet. So yun. Next po. Okay. Gambling. Gambling is an issue that parents really talk about with their children, but easy access to online gambling site that has made this a pressing issue that needs to be addressed with young people. In this section, we offer parents and teachers resource for discussing this topic with children and youth. Did you ever experience this online gambling? Naka-experience ba kayo? Anyone?
Ako, in my experience, yes, I experienced a lot of online gambling, especially on games, because it's really addictive once you won at least once. Just one spree of winning, it's just really addicting. It keeps going on and going on.
Okay. So the problem is online gambling is so harmful in psychological and physical. Yung mga taong addict dito sa online gambling is nakaka-experience sila ng depression, yung other anxiety related problems. Yung iba naman is nagpapakamatay. Halimbawa, 'di ba, halimbawa sa pagsusugal, 'yun. Pag yung isang tao is wala na siyang maibaya dun sa ano niya, sa pagsusugal niya. So yun, nagkakaroon na siya ng depression, yung stress, paano ko kaya to babayaran? Paano ko kaya to mababayaran tong ano ko? So, 'di ba? So isa ito sa issue ng internet. Next po. Pornography. So, did you know what is pornography? Anyone? Alam niyo ba kung anong pornography na to?
Yes. You know, I think pretty much everyone.
Okay. So, pornography. Young people today are exposed to a plethora of sexual imagery in media, both online and off. This section looks at potential impact of exposure to pornography on the development of health, sexuality, and offer tips for protecting young children, educating older kids. So yung pornography, ito na yung mga videos na rated as PG or yung mga videos na masaselang bagay. So itong pornography, itong one of the issue sa internet, especially sa mga young people, because kung napapansin nyo, karamihan sa mga nabubuntis nowadays is yung mga young people na sa age 13, 15, 16, meron nga 10 years old pa lang buntis na. So 'di ba dahil sa siguro nanonood sila ng ganon, so nako-curious sila paano kaya kung gagawin ko to, 'di ba? Natatempt sila kung ano kaya ito, bakit ano kayang meron dito, ganyan. So parang nako-curious sila. So kadalasan dito din sa pornography is ginagawang business. So yung naano dito is yung nabibiktima dito is yung mga kids, yung mga bata. So kailangan maging sa mga bata kailangan natin silang bantayan lagi or kailangan natin silang always guide them. So next po. Okay, authentication. Whether you are doing a little research, following a news story, or sharing interesting things on social media, the internet is never-ending source of information. So for example, when you are entering a website, then yung website na yun is magtatanong doon ang daming mga questions doon, tapos meron silang ipapagawa sa iyo. For example sa akin, pumunta ako sa isang website and then ang sabi doon, kailangan ko daw mag-login ng accounts. So yung ginawa ko is since hindi ko pa naman alam, so nag-login ako doon. So hindi ko pala alam na yung pala is hindi pala siya totoong parang kinukuha lang yung mga information ko. Kasi yung account na ginamit ko is Facebook account. So yung nangyari is pagka-login ko sa Facebook account ko doon sa mismong Facebook, hindi ko na ma-login kasi nag-change na daw ako ng password and email kahit hindi naman ako nag-change. So dito sa authentication information is dito yung isang tao once login siya or yung pag meron siyang ilalagay niyo yung mga personal information niya, so yung nangyari is yung website na yun, alam na din niya kung ano yung information tungkol sa iyo. So next po tayo. Yan, phishing. Phishing is what cybersecurity professional call the use of emails that try to trick people into checking on malicious link or attachment. This can be especially difficult for kids to detect because often the email will appear to form someone legitimate, like a friend or family member, simply saying, "Hey, thought you might like this." So yung phishing, ito na yung mga nagnanakaw din ng information. Yung for example, yung sa mga your account, yung name, yung password mo, yung credit card mo, o yung mga personal important detail tungkol sa'yo. For example, may kilala akong yung credit cards niya, yung ATM niya, nagtataka na lang siya is bakit nabawasan yung pera niya doon sa ATM niya, hindi naman siya nagwi-withdraw. So yun, ang doon is phishing. So kaya siya one of the issue of using internet. So yun lang pong aking may discuss tungkol sa issue of internet. So marami pong issue about sa internet. So ito lang yung aming napili kasi ito lang yung talagang ngayon, yung parang yun yung ngayon, yung parang yun yung nangyayari ngayon sa panahon ngayon.
It is very common.
Yes, very common.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Jane Tonghay, for that wonderful discussions about the issues in the internet. So she discussed together with Miss Queen the issues on the internet, especially for the children. So as their parents, guidance, so we need to guide them. And when it comes in using internet, so because children are very exposing, or they are very vulnerable to the technology. So let's proceed to our next guest speaker. For our next guest speaker, let me introduce to you. She is 25 years old, born September 7, 1995. She graduated elementary in Anuling Elementary School 2008, a ALS passer 2014 with special award, graduate of iTeams International Themes Philippines 2016, studying Bachelor in Elementary Education, major in General Education, a Vice President of BEd Department, a co-owner of Harvest Food and Flowers and Catering Services, a former youth leader of CLGF Anuling Mendez Cavite, a former teacher of CLGF Children Ministry, a former member of worship team in CLGF of Christ the Living God Fellowship, and a servant at CLGF Foundation. Let us all welcome Miss Brigitte Elaine Medina. Let's give her a round of applause.
Our next guest speaker, she finished elementary at Talon Elementary School with honors, graduate from junior high school at Talon National High School with honors, and former SSG officer of the campus. Graduate from senior high school at Olivares College, Tagaytay. She took up the Strand course of Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. Currently studying at Olivares College, Tagaytay, taking the course of Bachelor of Elementary Education. Attended the partnership in the 21st Century Learning with the theme of Olivarian Educados gearing towards excellence. Attended in the recently held PAFTE, Regional Quiz Bee, and Pre-Service Teachers Congress 2019. Let's give a round of applause for Miss Kyla Villanueva.
You may now proceed, Ms.
So we are here today to talk about internet safety. So even though apps loom larger in most people's daily online interactions than traditional websites do, that does not mean that the basic internet safety rules have changed. Hackers are still on the lookout for personal information they can use to access your credit card and bank information. Unsafe surfing can also lead to other threats, from embarrassing personal comments or images that once online are nearly impossible to erase, to getting mixed up with people you'd rather have had nothing to do with. So we're already finished the lesson of the issues on internet. So here are the top 10 internet safety rules to follow to help you avoid getting into trouble online and offline. So here are the top 10 safety rules and what not to do online. So tip number 1. So our tip number 1, keep personal information professional and limited. Have you experienced being stalked? Have you experienced someone copied your personal information and made a fake account of you?
Yes,
Anyone?
I've experienced that. Someone used my name and pictures to create fake Facebook account. I saw one of the posts with my pictures with a caption that she was looking for a boyfriend. I was so afraid that time because what if someone believed that was me? So I decided to unfriend some of my Facebook friends.
Okay, thank you for sharing that and thank you for trusting us. So, based on your experience, I have a tip for you. So, people don't need to know your personal relationship status or your home address. So, we must be careful in posting something or giving informations online, such as your address. Don't give your complete address, your complete name, as what we learned from the first presentation. So you wouldn't hand purely personal information out to strangers individually. So don't hand it out to millions of people online. So we must be very careful because when someone made a fake account, that's a quite dangerous. So tip number 2, Ms. Kyla.
Thank you, Miss Bridget. Tip number 2, keep your privacy settings on. So before I discuss this tip, I have a question. As an internet and social media user, do you keep your privacy settings on, and why do you think you need to? Anyone?
Ako po.
Proceed.
Sometimes po, because there are times that I change my audience setting into friends only, and there are times that I change the post audience into public. It depends on what I post and whom I want to see it po.
Okay, sounds good. Like you're practicing some tips, but you need to change that more. So, privacy settings is okay. Anyone?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, in addition, yes, I keep my privacy settings on, for I want to reach my posts only within my friends and not with others that I do not know in person.
Okay, thank you for that, Miss Joanne. So, privacy settings is like what I've said earlier. Privacy settings is part of social networking websites, internet browsers, piece of software, and etc. That allows you to control who sees information about you and allows you to control what information is shared on these platforms. Okay, we can't deny that living in this generation, internet, social networks, and other social media platforms is really part of our living now. So using social networking and social media sites are easy ways to chat online, make new friends, and keep in touch. However, there is some risk with meeting people online if you don't know them or you haven't met them in person. It is risky, for there are possibilities that may harm you. What if that person you met online having an eye on you along the way and wants to do something bad with you? Because we can say that a person are kind-hearted or can do things that may harm you with just communicating only through online. Remember, it is easy to be kind through message and through chats. Do not give your trust away with anyone, especially to those you've only met online. Another is keeping on your mind that once a message, photo, or video is shared, you have no control over where it goes. Why? Because you do not know if there is someone else who take an immediate screenshot on your post, and he or she send it to his friends, and that friend send it also to his friends, friend of friends, and so on and so forth. So, to avoid being harmed with these possibilities, good privacy settings is a key. Set your privacy settings on. Change your post audience as much as possible. Set your profile in private and do not accept friend requests from random people. I just want you to share that I make my new account in Facebook, and I have only 450 friends there. Other people says that I was too choosy or picky with my friends. So for me, it's not being picky. For me, it's me securing myself, and it's me putting myself in safety. So that are some good standard practices that you can do to avoid being harmed with some possibilities. Okay, Miss Bridget?
Okay, thank you, Miss Kyla. So let's proceed to tip number 3. So practice safe browsing. So I have a question. How do you secure safe browsing online? Anyone? How can you secure your safe browsing online?
I'll answer that. By practicing safe browsing online, simply just don't visit sketchy or unfamiliar websites that you don't know, or links that you think that can harm your device, like laptops, computers, and such. It's just you just need to be aware, or you just need the knowledge that you don't need to click on anything or visit anything. Just just be safe on what you know and what you have right now. That's all.
So thank you for your advice, and that's a very knowledgeable advice for us. So you wouldn't choose to walk through a dangerous neighborhood as an example. So don't visit dangerous neighborhoods online. So cyber criminals use lurid content as bait. So they know people are sometimes tempted by dubious content and may let their guard down when searching for it. So one careless click could expose personal data or infect your device with malware. By resisting the urge, you don't even give the hackers a chance. So, as what Mr. Hannibal said, we must be careful in clicking everything that we saw online, because awareness is always the key to be safe online. So, on tip number 4, Miss Kyla.
Thank you, Miss Bridge. Okay, so tip number 4, make sure your connection is secure. Use a secure VPN connection. So again, I have a question. Do you use a secure VPN connection every time you use your device?
Ako po. Honestly speaking, I don't know does this VPN connection means, but I'm sure that we will need to use it every time we use our devices.
Okay, thank you. So anyone? Okay, so looks like no one want to answer. So for you to have an idea what does VPN connection means, this VPN or virtual private network is a useful way to maintain our online privacy and security. So how a VPN works? So when you switch it on, a VPN creates an encrypted tunnel between you and the remote server operated by a VPN service. So it secures your data from prying eyes along the way. So think of this scenario. Consider the public Wi-Fi network perhaps at a mall, hotel, coffee shops, and in airport. Any places that have a public Wi-Fi network. Normally, you might connect without a second thought. But do you know who might watching the traffic on that network? Can you even sure the Wi-Fi network is legit or might be operated by a thief who's after your personal data? No, okay. So, another is when you connect to a personal hotspot of other device. We usually do it when we do not have a mobile data, or when we runs out of mobile data. Do you think the one who owns the hotspot where you connect at can't see your personal data in phone? Though we are connecting to someone who are not priors, but what if? There is always a what if you connect to someone who's prying you all along the way. That they want to get some personal information with you. So that's why there is a secure connection or VPN connection for you to be rest assured that no one on that network will be able to intercept your data, not other users snooping around for would-be victims, not even the operators of the network itself. Okay? So, do you think you need the VPN on all your devices? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Yes, you need the VPN on all your devices. For like what I've said earlier, it intercepts our cell phone data or our personal data to the prying eyes along the way. So I've searched some 5 top picks of best VPN. So for you to get started with online privacy, connection, protection right now. So the first is Proton VPN, TunnelBear VPN, Malvad VPN, NordVPN, and Private Internet Access VPN. So that are the VPN networks that you can use for you to get protected. So do not forget to switch on the secure connection or the VPN connection for your personal data. To be safe and sound with only with your personal information. Miss Bridget?
Okay, thank you, Ms. Kayla. So here are tip number 5. Be careful what you download. So now we are into online. So what do you usually download online?
Ma'am?
Anyone? Yes?
Ma'am. So, as a users of technology, I download the things that are really helpful to me. So, actually, in my phone and PC, I have only a specific app like Facebook or FB, YouTube for the movies, and Google and the Zoom. So, what I like the most to download is songs or from music or from YouTube. So, especially for the educational purposes. Thank you.
Yes, that is important, and especially now we are in pandemic. So we're always here using online. So to fight the boredom, we are downloading videos that is useful to fight anxiety, depression, and we also use it for educational purposes. So a top goal of cyber criminals is to trick you into downloading malware. So programs are apps that carry malware or try to steal information. So this malware can be disguised as an app. So we must be careful in downloading any apps because it can be as disguised and lead to cyber difficulties. So anything from a popular game to something that checks traffic or the weather. So as PC World advises, don't download apps that look suspicious or come from a site you don't trust. So we must be careful in trusting any sites that we will download specific videos or some educational purposes and informations. So that is our tip number 5. And let's go to tip number 6, Miss Kyla.
Thank you, Miss Bridget. So tip number 6, choose strong password. I have a question. Have you experienced being hacked? How does it feel? Anyone?
Ako po. Actually po, hindi po mismo yung account ko yung na-hack. Pero po, yung kaibigan ko po, na-hack po kasi yung account niya. So, yung nangyari is, hindi na po niya mabuksan yung kanyang Facebook account. Tapos po, yung nagtataka na lang po kami kung ano na lang po pinopost doon sa Facebook account niya po. Like for example, yung mga mababastos na words, yung mga pictures po. Yun po.
Okay, thank you, Miss Chim. So, lately, later you will heard some tips about how to prevent those hackers that you can tell your friends to. So you'll need to create a password to do just about everything on the web, from checking your email and social media accounts to e-wallet and to online banking and other accounts that requires password. The truth is that even though most websites are secure, there's always a small chances that someone may try to access or steal your information. This is commonly known as hacking. That's why I asked you earlier, have you experienced being hacked? Because one factor or reasons why your account is being hacked by the hackers is by your chosen password was not too strong and it's easy for them to guess it. And while your password is simpler, short, easy to remember password, this can also pose serious risk to your online security. And to protect yourself and your information, you'll want to use passwords that are long, strong, and difficult for someone else to guess, right? While still keeping them relatively easy for you to remember. So here are some tips that I may share for you to have an idea. So first is never use personal information. Why? Because this type of information is publicly available, which makes it easier for someone to guess. And another is use longer password. Your password should be at least 6 characters long. For extra security, it should be even longer. And don't use the same password for each account. Lately, I have a hobby that I use one password to all my accounts, but now I changed that my hobby of that. So if one discover your one account, all of your other accounts will be vulnerable. And lastly is try to include numbers, symbols, uppercase, lowercase, and letters. So remember to use these tips whenever you create a password to keep your online information safe and secure. And if you're using a not too strong password, you can change yours now. Choose strong password. Miss Bridget?
Okay, thank you, Ms. Kayla. So now, let us go to tip number 7. Make online purchases from secure sites. So now we are into online shopping since we're here in pandemic. So what online shops are you into? Or do you love shopping online? Anyone?
Ma'am?
Yes?
Yes, I love shopping online. So the preferred online shop is Shopee.
Shopee. So thank you. To be honest, I'm also fan of online shopping, but I'm using Lazada now. So anytime here's a tip for us. So anytime you make a purchase online, you need to provide credit card or bank account information, just what cyber criminals are most eager to get their hands on. So only supply this information to sites that provide secure encrypted connections. So you can identify secure sites by looking for an address that starts with HTTPS rather than the HTTP. So we can see that on many websites. So instead of looking for a site that starts from the small letters HTT and P, we can trust sites from HTTPS with letter S. So they may also be marked by a padlock icon next to the address bar. So for me, while I'm purchasing some items online, since I love using Lazada, so I also check the comments on the stores and the rates of the customers or the clients. So if they are in low rate, like 2, 3, 1, and the reviews are low, so don't trust it easily, and make also some investigate a little informations about the product, so we'll not be able to um, to be so we will be able to choose a right store with a proper product, and let's not experience the expectation versus reality that is very common nowadays. So on tip number 8, Miss Kyla.
Thank you, Miss Bridget. So tip number 8, be careful what you post. I have a question before I discuss this one. Do you think before you post a thing online, ma'am?
Oh, I will answer your question.
Okay.
Yes, we have to think before we post online. So we have to think, or we have to consider different things before we post, because always remember that everything that you share in online, make it very easy for your information to shared by the other people.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. So, social media, well, like what I've said earlier, social media is really part of our lives now. As a result, communication and keeping tabs on what's going on in the lives of others as much way more easy. For in one click or one tap away, you can send a message in a fastest way. You can view their media accounts and see what's happening on their lives. Plus, users can share all kinds of content on what the privacy settings are set as. It may be cool, but caution needs to be exercised. There has been a lot of emphasis that users must be careful about the content they post. So here are the solid reasons why. Because first, reputation is at stake. So whether that you're a student or adult, you should realize that your character and reputation are your biggest assets. And frivolous posts and updates on social media can put a dent into both in no time. For it may boom, maybe not now, but in the future. The examples of those reputation is ethics is like posting with poor grammar, with poor spelling, or just posting, throwing emotions on social media. So next is existing and potential employers. Your post on social media can influence your recruitment potential. Remember that HR professionals and employers can easily check your profile in social media, and in that way, it could give them insight whether you have a good profile or not. So our recklessness on social media will truly affect us. Lastly is social media content has a long shelf life, means that our account, our post will be around for much longer of time than you'd like. And given how tech savvy some people are, with the right fix and ample amount of time, someone can definitely dig up your social media activities from years earlier. So remember the saying that think before you post, possibly think 100 times before you post. So always be mindful and careful with what we post online, for it's for our safety also. Miss Bridget?
Okay, thank you, Miss Kyla. So now, let us go to tip number 9. So be careful who you meet online. So I have this little question. So do you have friends online, and how do you deal with anonymous people online? So can anyone share? Can anyone share something about friends online?
In my experience, I have a lot of online friends, and most of them I already meet them in person in many occasions. And basically, you just really in my part as a guy, I think it's okay as long as you have the um you have you have the courage to do it, but as well you need to be safe. So in order to be safe in meeting other people, you just need to have the caution, like meeting up in a place near the police station or in the most public place like a mall or something. And if you're meeting a person that you just met for the first time, you just need to be wary or aware that not to be taken advantage, like bringing you somewhere alone with him or with her, we just can't judge other people. So that's all.
Yes, thank you for that advice. So that is very timely now, especially for girls. We must be careful when we meet someone, especially when it's your first meeting. So let me share a story. So I have this friend who experienced someone who acts weird online. So she met someone online. So she anonymously met and that person also studies on same school, so she accepted it on Facebook or on Facebook and Instagram. So she accepted it and entertained it since they are studying on same school. But suddenly that anonymous person asked for personal information such as name, her even her schedules in school and the names of the students of that school. She was shocked and doesn't give the information since she thinks that that anonymous person is acts so weird. So that person even asked for her address and phone numbers and asking for meetups. Because of that, she blocked that person on Facebook. So do you think if you were the student, will you also do the same? Will you block the anonymous people, that anonymous person who acts so weird?
Yes.
Yes,
I
yes, that
think
is.
anyone would. I think anyone would
Yes,
do that.
yes, when someone is asking for too much information about you, we must or we should not give those information because that is too personal. Because they might, if you will meet them personally, if they will might took advantage and you don't even know who's that person is. Maybe that is also a fake account. So people you meet online are not always who they claim to be. So indeed, they may not even be real. As InfoWorld reports, fake social media profiles are a popular way for hackers to cozy up to unwary web users and pick their cyber pockets. So be as cautious and sensible in your online social life as you are in person social life. So we must be careful online, especially now, girls and even boys. We must be careful. So on the last tip, Miss Kyla, tip number 10.
Okay, so thank you, Miss Bridget. So the last tip is keep your antivirus program up to date. I have a question. Do you keep your antivirus up to date? Why? Anyone?
I'll answer that. Having an antivirus program on your device, especially your phone or laptop or computer, it's recommended. I know it's recommended, but for me, I don't have any antivirus program because simply you just need. I'm not that type of person who just keeps clicking and downloading and downloading any stuff from the internet. And also, I'm not letting anyone use my computer to plug in some USBs that I know that that I didn't let them use my computer, so it won't be affected by virus. So simply just being careful is enough to have an antivirus. After all, there are some antivirus programs that makes your computer slow or your phone slow.
Okay, so thank you, Mr. Hannibal, for sharing that to us. So, um, so you have installed antivirus software to protect your computer from threats. However, when was the last time you updated it? It suggests that you update antivirus software quite regularly. So if you're using antivirus software, it said that you have to update it quite regularly. So sometimes as often as every day, and it might need an daily update. So why you should update your antivirus software frequently? For if you fail to keep update your antivirus software regularly, you might not be protected from internet safety risks as you might think. In fact, your computer might be at risk of a new virus that your software is not yet aware of. So here are some reasons. New threats are emerging every day. So like what I've said, so when you have a antivirus software, your computer will have a protection for that virus won't let come to your computer. So another is, did you know that some viruses and spyware can actually hack in your computer system and erase or corrupt the data on your computer? Some viruses can even lock away your own information with a password that you don't know. Virus protection is crucial for protecting your valuable documents. If you have any sort of sensitive, valuable, and personal information in your devices or in your computer, or it is vital to make sure that you are protected against the most recent viruses. So another is that you could infect your friends once your device or computer constructs a virus. So it could affect not only your hard drive, but it could also pass itself along to other computers by email, USB flash drive, or network links. So imagine having to explain that to everyone else that you infect their devices or computers. So kind of big application to solve. So these are just few reasons why it is so important to keep your antivirus software will ensure software up to date. So frequently updating your antivirus software will it is we can be rest assured that we are always armed and well prepared in the war against viruses, malware, spyware, and other harmful computer invaders. So, Miss Bridget.
Okay, so thank you, Miss Kyla. So keep these 10 basic internet safety rules in mind, and you'll avoid many of the nasty surprises that lurk online for the careless. So let us review. So our tip number 1 is keep personal information professional and limited. Tip number 2, keep your privacy settings on. Tip number 3, practice safe browsing. Tip number 4, make sure your internet connection is secure. Use a secure VPN connection. Tip number 5, be careful what you download. Tip number 6, choose strong passwords. Tip number 7, make online purchases from secure sites. Tip number 8, be careful what you post. Tip number 9, be careful who you meet online. And tip number 10, keep your antivirus program up to date. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for having us together with Miss Kyla Villanueva. We are very thankful and we hope that you learned a lot today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you both of you for wonderful discussion about internet safety. We must be responsible and careful online. And remember, protecting your privacy and security doesn't mean you have something to hide. It means you have ability to choose what you should do online. Now let's proceed to the last topic.
So let me introduce our guest speaker for this afternoon. He is 22 years old, born September 22, 1998. He graduate student of Back State Elementary School year 2011, first honorable mention. Graduate student of Tagaytay City National High School year 2015, studying Bachelor in Elementary Education, major General Education in Olivares College, Tagaytay. Let us all welcome Mr. Hannibal. And for our next guest speaker, let me introduce to you. He graduated elementary Bukal Elementary School. He graduated his high school in Malabag National High School and currently studying at Olivares College, Tagaytay, taking the course of Bachelor of Elementary Education. Let us all welcome Mr. Edmond Enriquez. Let's give him a round of applause.
Let me introduce to you our last guest speaker. She finished elementary at Ordaneta Elementary School, graduate from high school at Vendetta National High School, currently studying at Olivares College, Tagaytay, taking the course of Bachelor of Elementary Education from Magallanes, Cavite, and happily married person. Let's welcome Miss Joanne Nepomuceno. Let's give her a round of applause.
You may proceed, Mr. Hannibal Flores, for your discussion for this afternoon.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Ramos. So, podium is mine. So, our topic are the one that we are gonna talk about is about implications of students under online learning. So, when we say the word implications, it is something that is suggested or happens indirectly. Like for example, when you left the gate open and the dog escaped, you were guilty by implication. That's what implication is. So, implication has many different sense. So, next slide, please. Okay. So, within the introduction, instruction or learning is concerned about the improvement of the entire individual. So, I think we can all agree that learning is the way toward moving from ignorance to mindfulness by knowing things with specific numbers and figures, or how we discover the world or experience knowledge. There are few manners by which one can, for the most part, characterize and construct learning. So it includes individual picking up information, abilities, states of mind, and qualities that will be a piece of their life. It makes an individual socialized, refined, civilized, and knowledgeable. So um, it could be attributed to bringing something new into one's awareness, or getting the current information to brighten by everyday and specific observations and experiences. We can say that instincts and reflexes are innate behaviors that occur naturally and do not involve learning. In contrast, learning is a change in behavior or knowledge that results from experience, and the field of behavioral psychology focuses largely on measurable behaviors that are learned rather than trying to understand internal states such as emotions and attitudes. So, next slide, please. So, we're going to talk about what is traditional and online learning. I think we're pretty familiar about these words. So, next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, thank you. So, traditional learning. So, traditional means face-to-face interaction between teachers and students. We're all familiar on this type of setting of classroom, like what we used to from last year before the COVID pandemic hits. So, we meet in a classroom face-to-face with our instructor or professor or teachers, and we learn in that kind of setting. So, traditional learning takes place in a classroom setting. There is a teacher who moderates and regulates the flow of information and knowledge. Then the teacher expects the students to deepen their knowledge through written exercises. So in traditional learning, or we can call it conventional style of education, is considered as the education in the traditional schools established by the society. So teachers delivered content orally or in words and engaged students while delivering content. In this type of education, both the teacher and students are physically present in the classrooms. So nowadays, technology is incorporated in the classroom more and more, and we are aware of that. However, in face-to-face instruction scenarios, the primary source of information is still in the teacher. So in traditional learning, it's all on the teacher itself, and the work comes from the students itself on how they utilize what they are learning from the teachers. Next slide, please. Next slide. I see. Thank you. Sorry. Online learning. So online learning is when you take courses online instead of an physical classroom. Just like what we're having in our situation now in this COVID pandemic. Like we're forced to have online classes right now. So online learning is exactly what it sounds like. It takes over place on the internet, and it is a form of distance learning. Um, we're very familiar of it now. It is interchangeable with the term of e-learning. I think we already know that e-learning. So we use LMS. We're familiar with it. Like I think you guys know. I think we're already familiar with Google Classroom, right? Schoology, Moodle. Desire to Learn, Blackboard, and many more. So, if you ask me what is an LMS, it is a learning management system or a software application that administers documents, tracks, reports, automates and delivers educational courses as well as training and development programs. So, if your schedule makes it hard to attend class, if you prefer studying at your own pace, or if you live far from campus, online learning might be for you. So simply, if you're more comfortable on learning while you're in front of your computer or your mobile device, I think online learning is for you. If you're that, I can say that you're lazy, but I think if you're not that fond of attending school face to face, I think online learning is for you. So with online learning, you can earn a certificate or diploma without setting a foot in a physical classroom. So basically, um, you can still graduate from school through online learning. So let's next so what is traditional and online learning in combination? I think we've already experienced this in our Olivarian 101 back in first year, and also in our I think in child adolescent in Sir Marty. Like, so next slide. So next slide. In combination of those two, we call it blended learning. We already know this. So blended learning is a style of education in which students learn via electronic and online media as well as traditional face-to-face learning. So for example, a student might attend class in a real classroom setting and then supplement the lesson plan by completing online multimedia coursework. Like for example, uh, Ate Bridget, she just wants to, she can utilize her time by attending the class one time in a week, and the rest she's gonna work all all the work from the learning plan from that week at home, and she can still manage to do it by just attending class one time in 1 week. So basically, in blended learning, learning can take on a variety of forms in online education environments, while some organizations may only use blended learning techniques on rare occasions. As such, the student would only have physical class once a week and would be free to go on their own pace. So simply, in blended learning, students have their own freedom on how they utilize their schedule. So that's what it says there. It provides individuals with the opportunity to enjoy the best of both worlds. So, in my conclusion, in my final speech, I think we can say that online learning is more effective than traditional learning, or vice versa. So, it certainly depends on the learning topic and how its effectiveness has been measured. But overall, it seems that online learning is a full-fledged alternative for classroom training, and there is a good and ample evidence that students generally learn as much as online as they do in traditional learning. So it just goes back and forth. So online education increases the creative attitude among them. Thus, among e-learners, creative increase, stimulate creativity among them, and in traditional education was thought of as the most efficient way of motivating and the unmotivated to study by having a mandatory presence at a university or at a seminar. You are inclined to go. So, but the problem is there are questions being raised, such as when it comes to online learning or blended learning, what's your budget? What is the learning topic? Is it practical based or knowledge driven? So that's the question that is being raised on these topics. So before I end my part, I'm gonna ask a question. So how online learning can improve how online learning can improve academic performance? Anyone?
Ako, sir.
Okay.
How online learning can improve academic performance. So it's a need to engage students at a deeper level. In traditional classroom-based courses, there is an ongoing problem with student retention. Sometimes students don't connect with the course materials or instructors. Also, in traditional classroom setting, you may have noticed attendance suffer, and soon enough, some students quickly fall behind their peers. While there are many reasons for the drop-off, it is an issue that continues to lag offline courses. So, as online education provides a greater degree of flexibility, it can be less stressful to manage alongside other commitments. There is less pressure to engage the students as you have to help off devices, apps, and multimedia tools to make learning a more interactive and enjoyable prospect. So this provides education institutions new opportunities to deliver content in ways that the students of today can relate to.
Okay, thank you. So, next question for ano, how to increase online students engagement? How do you increase that kind of engagement? Who can answer that?
Sir, ako po.
Okay, go ahead.
So, students who are used to learning in a classroom or meeting room may have trouble adjusting to the online learning experience. And to help them thrive in this new environment, give them an introduction to online learning. Your association's learning management system or LMS in in their online course. So require all students to go through the introduction to online learning that the first time they register for one of your online educational programs. Also, explain how online learning is different from traditional classroom experience. So provide tips on time management, goal setting, and planning and prioritizing work. Take them on a guided tour through your LMS, pointing out the different features and functionality, including the online community. Show them how to find materials, assignments, and assessments, and how to communicate with their instructor and fellow students.
Okay, very well said. So thank you for listening on my part. So it's time for my next the next speaker. So which is Miss Nepomuceno. So she'll have the podium for herself.
So thank you, Hannibal, for that wonderful introduction about the implications of online learning. So in my part, I will tackle about motivation in connecting online learning. So first is, what is motivation? So motivation, it is the process that initiates, guides, and maintain the goal-oriented behaviors in terms of emotional, social, and cognitive development. Or in short, it is why person does something. So in connection in online learning, so next slide please. So it's more convenient. I enjoy the anonymity, or it's easier and takes less time. Versus, can I do it later? Or I hate this, or I want to go back. So what can you see, or what do you have any idea of what this really means? Okay, in this part, the students were cut in the middle, whether when do they start or finish all the necessary assessment activities. Like for example, dun sa part natin na yung, for example, madami na tayong gagawin mga assessment activities. So, konting time na lang. So, nahahati tayo dun sa mamaya na lang kasi may time pa. Bukas na lang kasi bukas yung due date, 11:59. May maghapon pa't magdamag. So, nahahati tayo dun sa middle. So, that's why motivation is a must for them to engage and manage the task they have to finish on time. So, next slide, please. So in motivation, the online instruction mandated by most school districts was an abrupt and radical change for everyone involved, subjecting parents, teachers, and learners to litany or motivational challenges implementing and sustaining effective online instruction, regardless of whether the instruction is synchronous or asynchronous. Learning is questionable without a motivated teacher and engaged student. Are you agree here? Miss Hannibal, are you agree that learning is questionable without a motivated teacher and an engaged student?
Well, of course, without an enthusiastic and motivated teacher, there's no energy on learning from the students. Like in a teacher itself, like whatever oral you gave, it easily influences the children itself. Like from yourself, you can already influence them what facial expression you have. Like when you're sad, they're sad. When you're happy, of course they're happy.
Yes, very good. The most, the most motivation that affects to our online students is the behavior of a teacher. So, pero bago yung teacher, kinakailangan muna yung parents natin. Kasi in this time of pandemic, hindi lang dapat teachers yung nagmamotivate para matuto yung isang estudyante. Kasi bakit parents? Kasi sila yung mas nakakasama ng mga bata sa bahay kaysa sa school. Mas matagal silang nakakasama. At this time of pandemic, educators do not have the sole responsibility of motivating the student. The parents are the encouragement from their parents and guardians. If they feel appreciated, they might lose focus, commitment towards studying. Pag nawalan sila ng focus sa bahay, parang nawawalan na din sila ng gana mag-aral. Kasi yung mga teacher, tayo mga future educator, hindi na natin nakikita yung mga students natin kung ano yung ginagawa nila sa bahay. So bilang isang parents, kinakailangan natin silang mas i-motivate kung paano sila ma-engage sa online learning. So next slide, please. So part of the COVID-19 motivational dilemma is the perceived effectiveness of online learning, which is clearly ambiguous. What do you mean ambiguous? So ambiguous means double meaning. So some teachers and many students think online learning is a waste of time. In addition, disadvantaged learners may not have computer access or reliable internet connection. So at this pandemic, the most difficult worry of a student may ask a teacher is, "Teacher, I don't have internet connection, or I don't any means of getting internet connection. What will I do?" That's the most painful questions coming from your students. Ano yung isasagot mo dun? Nahahati ka kasi ayaw mo matigil yung pag-aaral nila dahil lang wala silang internet o wala silang way of learning through online learning. So isa yon sa pinakamasakit as a teacher na maririnig na tanong galing students. So next slide please. So is online learning effective? Although situational use of computer technology often boosts short-term learning, online instruction may reduce knowledge transfer resulting in less practical value for the content taught. In addition, learners often report lower satisfaction with online learning. One fact that is hard to debate is that good teachers are good teachers, regardless of circumstances. So yung pinag-uusapan natin dito is motivation. So ang isa kong nakitang factor na pinakamalaking factor na mag-motivate sa mga online student ngayong pandemic is the behavior of a teacher. Paano sila ma-motivate pumasok kung hindi approachable, di ba? As a future educator, dapat alam natin yan. Huwag mo silang ilagay sa level 10 na kung pang level 8 pa lang sila. Yun nga baby, di ba? Paglabas nila, tinuruan sila maglakad, tinuruan sila magsulat, magbasa, tinuruan. So, ganun din tayo sa mga students natin. Kung paano natin sila i-approach. Huwag natin silang itrato na ka-level natin. Which is, tama naman din yun, pero ngayong pandemic, hindi yun dapat natin gawin. Did you get my point, guys?
Yes.
Yes po.
Yes. Kasi may mga bata ngayon na magbibigay ka ng mga course syllabus, ng mga detailed week 1 to week 5. Nakapost na sila lahat doon. Then, magtatanong siya, hindi mawawala yung curious ng mga student na, Sir, ma'am, what if ganito po? What if ganyan? So, you as a approachable teacher, yung behavior mo, dapat dalhin mo sa pag-approach sa kanila. Hindi po pwedeng hindi mo sila accept or hindi mo pakikinggan yung side nila. Kasi yung mga bata ngayon is very sensitive na. Hindi mo nga lang galit di ba? Hindi mo lang sila replyan, akala nila, hindi mo na sila pinapansin or wala ka nang pakialam sa kanila. So being as a future educator, teacher's behavior is the one to engage by online learning. So next slide, please. So creativity. So this topic is tackled with Mr. Edmond Enriquez.
Thank you, Ms. Joanne Pomoceno and Mr. Hannibal Flores.
Creativity. We all know that creativity is very important for us educator and especially for our student. Using creativity, nilalabas ng mga student natin yung yung alam nila lahat at saka gumagana yung kanilang critical thinking. Next slide. Is it easy to consider the essential role of creativity in bringing joy and meaning to the human condition? Without creativity, we have no art, no literature, no science, no innovation, no problem solving, no progress. By Starko 1995. Yes, kung wala namang creativity, wala yung lahat, especially yung art, literature. Kasi doon tayo kumukuha dun sa literature, sa literature, dito lumalabas yung pagiging creative ng isang tao. Dito gumagana yung, sa creativity, gumagana yung critical thinking ng isang tao. And creativity is a more important component of problem solving, higher cognitive abilities, social and emotional well-being, and academic and adult success. Next part. Creativity. Creative people are in high demand in today's world. If adults are to be successful and prosper, innovative thinking and behaving must be encouraged. Therefore, it is imperative that students continue to receive opportunities to develop divergent thinking skills. So, creative people, they nasa sila mataas na demand, and yung mga creative people nowadays is yung nagiging prosper and na tao. And then innovative thinking and behavior must be encouraged not only for adults, especially it also can be prosper or encouraged to our student. Kasi in that way, nilalabas ng student kung sino sila at kung ano yung kaya nilang gawin. Therefore, imperative that students continue to receive opportunities to develop divergent thinking skills. So, in that way, parang may iba't ibang skills na kayang gawin yung students natin, especially inside the classroom. Creativity, Pero 1994 described common elements of learning activities that most engage students intellectually. Coincidentally, they echo key attributes of creativity: finding interest in problems, looking in new ways, communicating personal ideas, and creating new products and solutions to problems. So using creativity, nahahanap ng mga bata yung kanilang interest at kung ano yung kaya nilang gawin at gusto nilang gawin. And using creativity also, natututo yung mga bata to solve a solution and nakakapag-experiment sila ng isang bagay. And lumalawak yung ideas nila to do new ways or to experiment new things. And nakaka-create din sila ng isang product na hindi natin nila-expect using their creativity. Here are some tips for online educators. Student, help define content, of course. Student, syempre, they can help to define the content of the course kasi sila mismo, the students, alam nila yung ginagawa nila, alam nila yung tinitake nila. Especially kapag alam nila yung tinitake nila, mas na lumalawak yung content ng isang course. Students had time to wonder, return particular direction, interest them. Syempre, yung mga students, meron silang time to get to know what they want and ano yung gusto nila na direction. Hindi tayo magiging end of students kung tayo isa, ito ba yung gusto natin? Ito ba yung path na para sa atin? Ito yung direction na atahakin natin during our college? Ganon din yung mga bata ngayon. Using their creativity, nalalaman nila or meron silang time on what particular direction that interests them. Topics had a strange quality, something that this is common but seen in a new way to evoke lingering question. Teachers encourage different forms of expression and respect student views. Teachers encourage different forms. Siyempre, nire-respect din nila yung expression and yung students' views in one thing. Teachers were passionate about their work. The most meaningful activities were invented by teacher or student. Siyempre, napaka-passionate ng mga teacher in terms of their work. Kaya na-appreciate ng mga student yung na-invento nila. And even kung yung student, yung may inventong one thing, teachers can appreciate that also. Dito lumabas yung magiging passionate ng isang teacher kasi yung isang student hindi magiging creative yan or magiging passionate sa isang bagay kung hindi nila nakita yan sa kanilang teacher. Kaya dapat tayo as a future educator, we should show our creativity to our student for them also to be creative in their future. Students did something. It's totoo yan kasi hindi natin alam na out of the box binagawa na pa ng isang magandang bagay yung isang student or na hindi natin nila-expect. Kaya pala nilang gawin to na using their creativity para kasi ibang ganong students or isang bata na nakakagawa sila ng isang bagay na hindi natin nag-guide, na hindi natin nalalaman. Students sense that result of their work were not be fully predictable. Yung work ng yung paggumawa ng isang bagay, yung sobrang creative ng mga bata, pag gumawa sa isang bagay, ang bilis natin hulaan. Diba, for example, nag-drawing sila, tapos nakita natin yung drawing ng isang bata. Parang tayo, as an adult, parang, ito yung gusto iparating ng drawing ng batang to. Ito yung, parang may sense. Parang, bata pala sila, pero may sense na, at saka, na lang, on point na yung ginagawa ng isang estudyante. Next po. Creativity. Teaching to enhance creativity has different focus for online educators. The creativity is on the part of the student. It's important to provide student the knowledge, skills, and surroundings necessary for their own creativity to emerge. Giving students opportunities to be creative means allowing them to find and solve problems and communicate ideas in novel and appropriate ways. Using creativity, students, they show their creative ways. Di ba parang lumalawak yung kanilang knowledge and skills and yung pagiging creative ng mga student. Parang nakadepende sa surroundings nila. Pag alam naman natin maganda yung gawa ng bata, maganda yung surroundings niyan. Kung ano yung nakikita niya sa surroundings niya, parang nagagaya niya, parang pumapasok sa kanyang isipan. At saka yung creativity, it gives students opportunities to be creative in different ways. Kaya nilang mag-solve ng problem, gaya nga nasabi ko kanina, they can solve easy problem at sila mismo gumagawa rin sila ng sarili nilang problem na kaya nilang solusyonan in easy way. Next po.
Tala, Sir Edmund. Sir Edmund, do you have any questions?
Yes po. In this discussion, I wanted to ask one question. So the question is, what program in the K-12 curriculum that can be forced out or that are being forced out throughout the country due to funding cuts? Anyone?
Sir, I think it
Yes.
is music and arts program. It's because this action opens doors to recognize that as a phenomenon, creativity can support innovation in such subjects as social studies, science, and language arts. It is important to recognize that the interconnectedness of knowledge and the importance of how ideas from various areas of study can nurture understanding in desperate knowledge bases.
Thank you for sharing your ideas. So before I end this discussion, I want to share my conclusion or my final speech. Structuring online courses to enhance creativity can be a slippery goal. A teaching activity that produces an enjoyable outcome does not necessarily enhance creativity unless the student have the opportunity to create for creative thinking. In other words, if the exercise is original but the student's input is fairly routine, then it may not have been success. Teaching to enhance creativity as a different focus for online educator. The creativity is on the part of the student. It is important to provide students the knowledge, skills, and surrounding necessary for their own creativity to emerge. As what I said earlier, giving students opportunities to be creative means allowing them to find and solve problems and communicate ideas in novel and appropriate ways.
Thank you, Mr. Edmond. So once again, thank you to all participants for being part of our virtual symposium. I am grateful to all for taking their time to listen and participate. I hope everyone here enjoy and learn from our great guest speakers.
So this has been a wonderful conference. I have enjoyed listening to the talks. It is good to learn more about the internet safety policy and its implication for our children. So I would like to express my appreciation to all the participants for taking time for this symposium. So it will be a precious experience for you to have a discussion in a candid manner. So I sincerely hope that you learned a lot from this. Thank you and God bless.